Google the phrase peace institutes in the world and you'll be amazed at the number that exists today. Among them are Carnegie Endowment for the International Peace, the Global Peace Institute, Peace Brigades International, and so many others. They are dedicated to what they call a scientific basis for peace. Described by some as the science of human survival, these brain trusts are searching for a formula that will allow men to beat their swords and plowshares into pruning hooks, just as Micah captured. And that would be something that would happen even today. I'm Pastor Jim Wiles. I'm from CIC right here in South Attleboro, Massachusetts. So what I'm thinking here is these institutes were held as public corporations. I'm not sure many would buy their stock. Why? Their answer is obvious. But there's one thing for sure. Nobody will put peace institutes out of business, and at least not until God says, enough, enough. Gabriel, blow your trumpet. The sad reality is peace seems to be so far away as when Cain's heart was filled with evil and killed his brother. Many people have their hearts filled with unrest and turmoil. Recently, a director of a counseling center wrote this: the dark side of human experience in a global culture of hatred and chaos, punctuated recently by a large scale of atrocity, has left many adults and children with post-traumatic stress syndrome. It's not unusual for the experience disrupted sleep patterns, irritability, difficult sustaining attention, hypervigilance, and a general sense of vulnerability. It's not just the pandemic that has created a lack of peace, or maybe if we were ever as a result of these recent elections, or maybe it was our fear of terrorists, or maybe it was something. If you're like a student of the Middle East and you're wondering what's Israel doing, what's her enemies doing, and that's only the surface, like a tough onion skin. When you peel back layer by layer of these stresses are in our homes, or in our offices, or in our families, or in our churches, or in our schools. It's like a global dysfunction. And yes, you can keep the doors locked and deadbolted. You can put your alarm systems on. With narrowed eyes suspicion, you can scan the crowd looking beyond their masks, looking with suspicion at not only a stranger, but maybe even your neighbor. Who can escape this? So, how do you face these uncertainties? David recorded this: we will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be your shield and rampart. So, in light of all that there's going, and the $1 million question is, are you God's child? If you are, and your heart is overwrought with turmoil, you need to find the peace and tranquility. It comes to you because you are God's, and you know God's, and you realize He's still in control, and that He loves you, and you will not be forsaken. With the cross looming over the horizon, Jesus met with His disciples and calmly instructed this: peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give it to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid. Mark those words in your Bible. They're found in John 14:27. Write them on a card and put them on a mirror when you can see it as you start your day. You'll find them there at John, again, 14:27. No matter the circumstances, no matter the lockdown rules, no matter the social distancing rules that Charlie Baker or Gina Raimondo or anywhere you are in the country, or in England even, can put up. No matter who's leading the current administration in D.C., you will find and know that you have peace that should create a space that you are not troubled or afraid. Here's a picture. Remember, there was once a contest that held to find an artist who could best represent peace in the midst of a storm. The winning painting depicted a raging storm with the wind blowing. The boughs of trees were bending, and the gale of wind and rain was just hammering this tree. But on the branch of the tree was a bird's nest, and with her feathers of protection over the nest were 3 little birds, oblivious to the storm because they were under the mother's wings. Here's the bottom line: as a child of God, you can face the storm. You can know that you are sheltered by the Almighty, no matter how strong the winds are blowing. As my mom always quoted to me my whole life, and I can still hear her voice when I read this to you now: be still and know that I am God. I'm saying it to you: be still and know He is still God. Find shelter under His wings. He will sustain you. Thanks for listening. Blessings. We're here for you. Give us a call.